Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and I don't know why it took me so long. And actually, one of you guys wrote in and kind of gave the suggestion for this video. And so, what we're going to talk about is what you can do during an SHTF situation to combat the heat. Now, uh, for the purposes of this, we're going to say that there is no electrical grid. So I took some notes here, and when it comes to heat, high temperatures are not fun, especially now the making of this video. We're basically in the middle of July. And so we've got, all of July, we've got August, and then hopefully things maybe will start cooling down in September. We'll see. But, for most humans, we have that threshold or that tolerance when it comes to high temperatures. Some like it a little warmer, some like it a little cooler. But in the end, when you start talking about really high heat, it makes things very uncomfortable and can be very dangerous. So, one of the very first things is to kind of be a little savvy. Let's go put it that way. Know about heat and the dangers and things that it poses. So, again, if we have no electricity, one of the things that you can do is start getting circulation in your house. So, opening up doors, windows, and things like that. But one of the things that I will recommend is to do that on the shaded side of the house. So if you have it to where the sun's coming up in the east and your front door faces the east, if it's possible, try and cover those on the outside of your house so you don't get the magnifying effect, and open up everything on the west side so that way you're still getting something coming in. Uh, you can do various things on the north and the south side as well, depending on how the sun's coming in and whatnot. But opening up interior doors and things like that, so that way you're trying to get movement. Now, I know that some of you are going to say, well, I have solar, or I have battery operated fans and things like that. Great. If you have them, use them. Um, but try and get it to where you getting some sort of airflow and keeping the rays of the sun out as much as possible. Uh, and so next thing is going to be try and make sure that you stay on the lowest floor of your home. So, being in the attic at noon is probably not the greatest thing. If you have to be upstairs at a high level, try and do it early before the sun comes up, or as it's coming up, or when the sun's going down, or maybe even at night. Try and keep at the lowest floor or basement or something like that. Remember, heat rises, so you want to be as low as possible. Now, for people that live in the cities, that's going to be extremely difficult. You're on the third floor, fifth floor, or even higher. All that heat is going to build. And so, for the people in the upper levels, you may have to start making friends with somebody at a lower level. So, next thing is going to be get wet. Do this however you can, whether you can, fill up some sort of a pool or a tub or something like that, to where you can immerse your whole body, go to some sort of stream, pond, swimming pool that you may have on your property. If you don't have that, even doing something to where you fill a basin to get your feet wet, things like that. They make those cooling towels that you can take and put over your head or over your neck. Even taking something as simple as a water bottle and spritzing yourself, or just flicking water on you will definitely help. And, you just have to do that every so often. Now, keep in mind, if we're talking about long term SHTF and grid down, this does not have to be drinkable water. It should be clean water, but you don't have to go through all the different things in order to make it safe to drink when you're just soaking your feet, or, putting a towel around to where it's wet. That doesn't have to be drinkable water. So make sure that you have that out to where maybe you just collected some rainwater. As long as it is clean, it'll be just fine to be able to cool you down. Um, the next thing is going to be drink up. Okay, you don't want to become dehydrated. Make sure you're taking plenty of fluids anything that you possibly can, especially in a long-term SHTF situation. This is where those sports drinks and things like that, because you got to replace those minerals and sugars and different things like that. Uh, Depending, this is where it's going to come into a lot of people that your dependency on high caffeinated things like coffees and soda and things like that. Um, it's a drug, and so you will come off of it. And if you're all you're doing is drinking water, you might be miserable for a couple of days. Make sure that you prepare yourself for that. I've seen a ton of people give suggestions on what you can do to kind of lower your tolerance and wean yourself off of it, so to speak. But make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. Um, One of the big things is going to be going back and talking about the people that in the city. I think we all at some point in time have walked barefoot across concrete or blacktop and realized that yes, it's hot out, but that concrete or blacktop, or maybe even sat down, leaned against the hood of the car, and forgot that that's really, really hot. And so just imagine if you are in the city to where it is nothing but paved roads and concrete sidewalks and driveways and hot cars parked all along the streets and different things. Those are going to heat up and they're going to produce heat and hold the heat. And so you have to make sure that you plan for something like this. I think there's a lot of people that they fear when an SHTF event happens, that it's going to happen in the wintertime, and they feel very unprepared because they're going to get snowed in. There's not going to be any power to stay warm and all things like that. I agree, but also do not get the mistake that it's going to be any safer that it happens in the height of summer. Okay, it's going to be just as dangerous because it's going to be very hard to keep cool. I feel very, very sad for somebody that lives on the 15th floor, surrounded by parking lots and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be miserable, if not fully dangerous. So make sure that you do not sleep on this, that you understand how to get through at a long-term SHTF situation in high heat. Make things that you can fan yourself. Make sure you're doing things early in the morning and late in the evening, and rest during the height of everything. We can learn a lot about nature. I'm sure a lot of you have watched nature documentaries to where, the animals hunt first thing in the morning or late in the evening, and noon, 1 o'clock. What are they all doing? They're under a tree panting. They're relaxing, uh, just trying to make it through that heat of the day. And that's one of the things that we'll probably have to do is you're going to have to get your stuff done earlier at night, and you're just going to have to make it to where that's your rest period, your shaded time. And there's a lot of things that you can do during that time to where it's not just a waste of time where you just watch the sun move across. That's the time that you can go through and sharpen knives, clean weapons. You can go through and repair clothing, maybe knit or something to make new clothing. There's a lot of idle things that you can do in the shade while you're waiting for things to cool down. So make sure that maybe you start a list on some of those sort of things. Now, there's two dangers that come with high heat. And the very first one is going to be heat exhaustion. Now, when it comes to heat exhaustion, and I kind of want to read this, so bear with me, is this is kind of the more mild, I would say, of the two things that could happen. And this is when the body's temperature gets a little too high. Now, this will lead to things like dizziness, nausea, fatigue, heavy sweating, clammy skin, things like that. So those are symptoms that you have to watch for, because it is early signs that somebody might be going into heat exhaustion. Now, the way that you can kind of counteract this is whoever's doing this, make sure that they lie down in the very shaded area, elevate their feet, give them plenty of fluids, cool them down, give them cooling towels, fan them. But you want to limit their movement so that way we can try and lower their core body temperature and get them back into a good sign. The more severe one is going to be heat stroke. Now, this is when a person's body core temperature reaches 104 degrees. Now, this requires immediate attention because you've already passed heat exhaustion. So, this one for a treatment, you're going to want to get it administered as quickly as possible. Now, to identify this is going to be hot and dry skin, headaches, even severe headaches, a dizziness, maybe even unconsciousness. Um, Heat stroke can be life threatening, so you really want to watch for the heat exhaustion and not let anybody get to that heat stroke level. And ideally, this is an ER trip if somebody gets to this, because this starts affecting everything from the kidneys to the heart to even the brain. You can have some very very life threatening things go on. Now, when you do this, it's kind of the same thing. You want to get them quickly into the shade. You want them getting into a rested position. You want to submerge them in water, or get some sort of cooling, and get them cooled down. You want to bring their body temperature of the core down, uh, kind of as quickly as you can, but not too quickly. And then again, for transparency, not a medical expert. Anything that along these lines, try and seek professional medical help if any of this stuff happens while we're talking about off grid, or something along those lines, to where you are kind of forced to be your own first responder. Then you want to watch for all these signs, because these are serious things. So we went over a couple of these things. There's a lot more we can go into and branch out into higher detail. The point that I wanted to get across is that the heat can be very, very dangerous. It affects people differently, whether they're young or old, male, female, it doesn't matter. So you need to watch for symptoms. You also need to be honest. Maybe your experience that. Don't try to play the tough person. If you're starting to get a headache, you're starting to get dizzy, anything along those lines, it's okay to take a break, because trust me, the loved ones that you are with, the people that are dependent on you, need you to be healthy and alive. So it's okay to tell the truth and say, hey, I need to go sit down for a little bit. I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting a headache. I need to go get some water and take a break. It's okay. I'm telling you that now. You need to take breaks. So, hopefully, you got a little bit of substance out of that. I think the few of you that sent in asking me to do a video like this, hopefully, I did it justice. If I need to do more, let me know. If I did okay, let me know. If I did bad, let me know. Right. So, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay tuned, because there's definitely more information to come. And with that, I want to remind you, remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.